A little bit earlier, Larry Newber had a chance to talk with some of the drivers here today about this racetrack.
This straightaway really starts back a couple of turns, which is two real sharp turns just coming into this main straightaway. And if you don't get off of there really good, you're not going to have a fast straightaway speed here. So that makes it very important. Then after that, the left-hand turn up here probably, for normally speaking, would be the best turn for most of the drivers here. And that means that it's more like a standard racing track turn to most of the drivers. So I don't really look for them to have too many problems there. Now, they may have a lot of spin-outs, but I think most of the drivers will generally feel relaxed there.
While approaching the chicane, you have a fairly good speed straightaway, and I think getting the car set approaching the chicane is important because you really have to thread. It's like threading a needle. You have to turn to the right and then turn left immediately, and if you get offline, it just makes it that much harder to get onto the line again. And of course you have to brake and shift on to second at the second turn, so it's very complex, and how you go in it is very important. Of course that leads right into the keyhole, which you can enter in various ways and still be all right, but there's probably a best way which I haven't figured out yet, depending on how your car's set up. But you spend a lot of time in the keyhole, so you want to get through it as fast as possible, but more importantly be able to get out of it as early as possible using a lot of throttle, because you have a lot of horsepower with the car and you want to be able to use it.
Coming out of the keyhole, you're trying to keep it on the track. The car has a tendency to want to leave the track off to the left. After that, you try to get the car up to as much speed as possible, as quick as possible, because you're coming out of the keyhole in first gear. You try to get second, third, and fourth as quick as possible. It's the fastest part on the course. It's probably 190 miles an hour, almost 200 miles an hour down that back straight. So what you try to do is you check your mirrors, you check your gauges, because this is the longest part on the course. And then at the end, where it is the fastest on the course, you start wowing the car, because the brakes hopefully are gonna stop the car, because you have a sharp right-hand turn there. So kind of just make sure it's going to stop for you.
Bill, through madness in the S's.
Well, you come down that straight awful fast. You're running probably 180, 190 miles an hour. You get really hard on the brakes. Shift down through the gears. I usually skip third gear and go from fourth down to second into first. You kind of pitch the car there sideways, because these cars really don't like to turn in very well. A hard right turn, a very short burst of acceleration, get you up that hill. Then again, it's a quick flick to the left. You come over that hill, the car slides across the track, down to the bottom, a hard right again, still staying in first gear, up under that little bridge. I grab second gear then. Just about the time the car gets light and the actual wheel spin, even though second gear is a little premature, the wheel spin gets the car light enough to carry it over the hill and then down into the two right-hand turns.
Coming up under the bridge, you come uphill, left-hander, and it's blind, because you're just looking at blue sky at the top of the racetrack. So you have to hit your mark, or a place on the track on the inside, and be there so that when you come over the top and can see the track on the other side, you're able to hit the line and make it across the inside of the bump strips and down across a very short straightaway, very hard, and it slides across, comes across to the outside of the track, and you brake hard, back shift, and then you turn uphill around 12. Uphill, it's blind again. You can't see anything over the top of the crest, so you're coming up to it, and you're going across the road, and the road goes right up to the edge and then falls away very rapidly to guardrail, maybe 40 feet, 50 feet away. Very critical there, because if you lose it there, you're in a lot of trouble.
Well, entering the carousel, the tendency is to get in probably a little too fast. It's easy to get in too fast, but it's a decreasing radius. So you get in about the middle of the track, left or right wise, and you carry that through about halfway. Then the trouble is trying to get it down to the right-hand side of the track as you come off the corner. The tendency is for the front end of the car to push out or wash out towards the outside of the racetrack. So if you get in too hot, it ruins your exit. As you come out, there's a little bit of a dip, and you're hard in first gear, which is rather low, and the turbocharging boost comes in, and you better have it pointed in the right direction. As you go through this little dip, and you have a little left-hander, that it doesn't present a real problem as long as you get off the carousel corner right, and then first gear down through the dip as you come up, and you're turning, you have to hit second gear, and then you might get third gear about the start-finish line.